Quick introductions. And first, I'd like to introduce our host and person that's leading us today, Aaron Jensen from our benefits department. Aaron's organized this presentation and put it together for us today. Also would like to introduce Lisa Goebel from Human Resources, Jenny Flax, our district's well-being coordinator. We'll also have a representative from AIG, and Julie Ruling from Payroll will also be joining us today. We're going to go over a lot, and it could feel overwhelming at times. Don't worry, we won't give you a quiz. And know that you can find additional information, documents, resources, videos on the website that's going to be displayed on this screen as well, as you can see there. With that said, I think we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off and started. And I'm going to transition my screen here to get us set up and say just welcome. We're excited you're here and want to start by introducing our Human Resources team. You'll see there Dr. Delsen, who's our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, myself, Sharon Griffin, who is our Human Resources Manager, and our HR specialists that are here to take care of you. We're here to help and support you, and customer service and taking care of our people is something we really enjoy doing. So if you ever need anything, please let us know. You can stop by our office. We are in the District Leadership Center, and we're on the left side of the first floor main hallway. And if you haven't stopped by to see us to get your badge or take care of paperwork, that's where you'll find us to take care of those things. The next group I'd like to introduce is our Business Services Office. Fantastic team there where Steve Williams is our CFO. Coordinators of Benefits and Wellness, Sarah McMillan, our coordinator of Payroll Services, Deanna Keller, and we also have coordinator of our accounting and Sharon Smith, and they're specialists that take care of all the things that happen in our business services, from benefits to getting paid to managing our budget. A fantastic team that HR works closely with throughout the year. And you'll find them also on the first floor, just down on the right, across the hall from the Human Resources office. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our mission statement and what we're about here at Lee Summit. And our mission statement is we prepare each student for success in life. And that takes a lot of people. It starts with oftentimes the first person our kids will see during a day, which is our bus driver during our normal times where kids are being transported, where that's the first warm smile and hello they get in the morning when they get on the bus, all the way to the breakfast they may start their day with our nutrition services team, because it's pretty hard to learn when you don't have good nutrition and a meal in your stomach. To the fantastic teachers we have in our classrooms delivering learning targets and engaging lessons, the paraprofessional staff and the other support staff in our schools that support them to make sure everything works well for them and our teachers have what they need to make great learning happen for our students. To our custodians that in the evenings and during the day make sure our schools are clean and safe. They're always important, but especially during this time during COVID, them taking care of touch points ensure students are successful as well. So as you can see, it just takes a lot of us to come together to ensure students are successful for their future in life. And it's a fantastic mission to be a part of, and we're excited that you get to join us and be a part of that as well for our students. So today we are going to provide an overview of our expectations as a district. We're also going to talk about benefit information for the Lee Summit R7 schools and just places you can go to take care of the day-to-day things that you'll need or month-to-month things you need as you go through. So first we're going to start with some HR reminders. One thing, all staff, we do ask that you do wear your ID badge in the buildings. This lets us know that you're an adult that is supposed to be in our buildings. And you'll also notice on the back there's a barcode there. And that barcode can be used to time in at our kiosks. As I did this morning and all of our people do, you swipe, time in, or you can time in at our laptop stations or your Chromebook station. If you do not have a badge yet, you can stop by the Human Resources office. We'll get your picture taken and be able to get a badge issued to you right then and there. Also, I'm going to mention you've all received your new employee packet that was sent to you electronically when you were hired. If there are any forms or policies, acknowledgement forms, anything that you've not completed, please be sure to complete those as soon as possible and get the required materials back to our Human Resources office. Also want to mention that our paraprofessionals and interventionists, we do need, for those folks Their unofficial transcripts show they meet the 60-hour requirement or have passed the state test for those roles. And any other professional staff that has professional licensures like RN, LPN, teachers, please make sure you get that professional license sent to us so we have it on file in the Human Resources Office and meet those requirements. Something else I want to mention, you may already have been getting the email reminders regarding your Safe Schools training. We utilize Safe Schools to do required trainings that are either required federally by the United States, through state required, Board of Education required, and other regulatory agencies. We utilize Safe Schools for that training. Please do be diligent in getting those completed by the specific deadlines you see in those emails or when you log in. And you can see there the web address that will take you to that. You can also find that on our district staff webpage. You'll use your employee ID to get logged into that. And as I said, please get those completed on time. And if you're a non-exempt employee that times in and out, so an exempt employee is someone that will swipe once for the day, like a teacher, and they don't time in and out. For our non-exempt employees that time in and out, please coordinate with your supervisor to complete those trainings while you're at work on the clock. And you'll see the specific trainings have been uploaded for you based on your job and the position you have in the school district. Next thing I just want to mention is, the one thing we always talk about in our district is doing right by our kids and following our board policies, and you've seen those in the acknowledgments as well. Also want to mention Team Lee Summit. Team Lee Summit is our meet and confer team that has open lines of communication about salary, benefits, and quality of work-life issues in Lee Summit. We send out every fall a survey to all of our staff. When you get that next fall, I do encourage you to complete that. Take some time. That is reviewed by Team Lee Summit, which includes 5 teachers, 5 support staff members, and 5 administrators. And those folks come together to ensure that we're providing a work environment that's caring, safe, equitable, and enriching for all of our employees. We also want to maintain a quality and affordable benefit package that meets our employees' needs. And that's something we take pride in because we do delegate a lot of our resources to giving great benefits to our folks. And we frequently hear from our employees that they really appreciate having a fantastic benefits package. We also want to provide fair, affordable, and competitive compensation. We can strive to be in the top third in the Kansas City metro area of school districts in pay for each position. That is a goal of ours, and we look at that each year to ensure we are being competitive with the budgeted resources our school district has. So a great team of folks that are working for you, and please pay attention to those surveys and emails that come out throughout the year for Team Lee Summit. So after each section of the presentation, we're going to pause to see if there's any questions, and I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions there, but if you do or did have any, please put those into the chat and we'll answer those during these Q&A times or throughout the presentation in the chat. So with that, I want to pass it over to our wellness coordinator, Jennifer Flax. And well-being is a key for our school district. And as Jennifer will tell you, I think it's very appropriate that we transition quickly to taking great care of our people, because you taking great care of yourself allows you to take great care of our students. So with that, I'll pass it over to Jenny.
Good morning. Again, my name is Jenny Flax, and I am the district's Wellbeing Coordinator, and it's really my pleasure to be able to introduce you guys to the Employee Wellbeing Program. And as Dr. Carlson stated, the LSR-7 mission is to prepare each student for success in life, and our mission with the Employee Wellbeing Program is really to do the same thing for you, is to prepare you with supportive programs and services and resources so that we can empower you, each of you, with the right mix of programs and services, and then really the culture necessary in order for you to bring the best version of yourself to work each and every day. So our vision is to inspire you to champion your own personal pathway to a balanced being and really a balanced life. The next slide, I just wanted to say here that what we know from years of research is that a person will thrive and they'll be their best self when they're able to experience balance in their life. And therefore, the Employee Wellbeing Program really focuses on caring for that whole person, which includes body, it includes mind and spirit, by providing really just the right mix of supportive programs and services and resources and several components of life to support you in taking care of yourself and thus achieving balance. Additionally, we have identified that work-life balance tends to be one of the more challenging components for our employees to manage, and so we've set up many opportunities to really take place either on-site or virtually, obviously primarily virtually now, in order to meet you where you're at. So on our website, in each pillar, what you'll do is if you go to the website, click on one of those pillars that you see on the screen right now, you'll see a set of questions to ask yourself, followed by a list of resources and then opportunities that are aimed at bringing greater balance to that specific pillar. So for example, if you were to look at the physical well-being pillar and determine that that was an area of imbalance for you, you would then notice that you have numerous opportunities to engage in activities such as on-site group fitness classes or virtual group fitness classes, virtual cooking demos, and then just district-wide challenges that are activity focused to help bring some balance back to that area should it be out of balance. We also offer like lunch and learns, primarily virtually right now on various topics that can be from mind-body wellness to personal resilience, mindfulness, work-life balance. There's a plethora of opportunity there with different topics to address. And one more thing while we're on the slide that I just wanted to bring to your attention are well-being champions. Each of our sites have a well-being champion who is basically a representative for your building, and they are really there to be a resource and to disseminate well-being information out to you, make sure that that's getting out to you, as well as bring specific services to your building, to you. So I would encourage you to take the opportunity to get to know who that well-being champion is in your building. And definitely work through them and with them with program opportunities at your location. If we go on to the next slide, you will see a list of our well-being partners along with links to their respective well-being service offerings. So for example, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they are our health insurance carrier. From a well-being perspective, they provide face-to-face and virtual health coaching. They also provide preventive diabetes management programs along with various health and fitness center discounts should you sign up for their Healthier You Blue 365 Deals program. Going on, I'm talking about Empathia. Empathia is our employee assistance program provider, and they offer a comprehensive one-on-one well-being program called Life Matters. And this resource is paid for by the district, and they're available to all of our employees, all of you, your spouses and dependent children through the end of the calendar year that they actually turn 26. Calls are answered 24/7, 365 days of the year, and counselors are accessible via phone, via website, and mobile app. With Life Matters, you are able to get up to 6 face-to-face counseling sessions per issue per year. So if you are seeking or seeing a counselor through Life Matters, let's say over anxiety, and let's say later on and another completely separate concern comes up, let's say it's divorce, you can see a counselor for both of those situations. So you would basically get 6 face-to-face counseling sessions per issue for the anxiety and 6 for the divorce should you see a counselor for that. They offer an expansive network of specialized counselors in Lee Summit and also the Kansas City area. If additional services are recommended by the counselor, they will actually assist you with assessing providers that are covered by your insurance plan, and then they would advise you if there are any costs associated with that also. They offer counseling services telephonically, they offer them face-to-face, they're online, and all of their counselors have a minimums master's degree and 5 or more years of experience in specific areas. They specialize in parenting and balancing work life, stress, anxiety, conflicts, concerns, relationships, grief, loss, violence, you name it. They have a lot of different specialty counselors that you can seek out depending on what your needs are. They also offer financial counseling, and this is offered telephonically. And then they have a lot of resources available, such as calculators and articles, webinars that can be found regarding their financial counseling opportunities as well. They also offer legal services. And so they can make a referral to a local attorney, and at that point you get a free 30-minute consultation per issue, either by phone or face-to-face. And if that matter goes beyond the initial consultation, you may receive up to a 25% discount if you continue to use them at that point. There's also tons of online legal forms that you have access to, articles, and then tip sheets as well. I always point out there's the opportunity, because a lot of folks are interested in developing a will. They have templates for that, as well as several other forms out there, so that you don't have to start from scratch with that process. So check out those templates they have available, and utilize those as needed as well. They have lots of additional services that I didn't specifically talk about, but just to highlight and name a few, they offer smoking cessation classes, self-assessment tools, and online searches. When I say online searches, if you're looking, I had a gentleman call because he was looking for elder care services for his aging parents. He was able to call Life Matters, and they were able, and explain the situation, what he was looking for. And then Life Matters, that counselor took it upon themselves to locate different elder care services within a specific radius of the location he was looking at. They got back with this gentleman within 24-48 hours with a list of opportunities that he had for elder care service based off of the needs that he was looking for his parents. So they are willing to do the legwork. Give them a call if you're looking for pet care services, for example. You're going out of town for the weekend. They'll do the legwork and they'll do the research and find out what's available. Then they'll get back with you with that information. So they basically just take a step out of it, because they know that you are working professionals, that you're busy, you don't have time to step away all the time during the day to make those phone calls and do your research, and they're willing to do that for you. So take advantage of them. I can't say enough about that. I'm going to go on and talk a little bit about AIG. They are our CSD retirement partners, and they offer virtual and on-site financial consultations with an advisor. And they are able to, like I said, they're able to come on site, but right now a lot of a lot of things are done just basically virtually with them. Every month I have them set up to present on a different topic, financial topic. As a matter of fact, they have a webinar set up. I have that set up with them on tomorrow, Thursday, at 5 o'clock, and it's over navigating student debt loan. So if that's a topic of interest to you, I've sent out information, and it's also on the Wellbeing Calendar where you can sign up for that opportunity. So check them out should you have any questions regarding the financial well-being piece of it. Care Here is another one that I just wanted to briefly highlight. You're going to hear more about them a little later, but they are the district's complete health and wellness center. And they offer quality, inexpensive healthcare services, including preventative services, pre and post diabetes management programs. They offer biometric screens and health risk assessments, all with a nurse practitioner. They also have telehealth appointments available for your convenience as well. So just a little bit about Care Here. Going on to the final slide, the bottom line that I just want to stress and get across is that we are here to take care of the people who take care of the people, and those people are each and every one of you on this call. So please, we encourage you to engage in these opportunities that you have available through the Employee Wellbeing Program to take care of yourself, especially now more than ever. You need to take care of yourself. So you can bring your best self forward and take care of our kiddos. Should you find yourself needing additional assistance or direction establishing a self-care plan, please don't hesitate to connect with me. As a well coach, an exercise physiologist, personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and the district's wellbeing coordinator, I'm here to help you navigate through all those available resources and develop a plan that supports your health and well-being. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys, and be well. Are there any questions? It looks like,
Yes, there is one, and I know we can provide this in this call. The Life Matters app is asking for a company password.
Yes. So the company password, if you get on Life Matters, is LSSD1. And you will need that password to get online and check out all of their programs and services. And Sarah has actually put that into the chat as well, LSSD1.
Okay, great, Jenny. Thank you so much.
You bet. You guys have a great day.
Okay, Erin, we are now to you for payroll time and attendance.
Fun stuff, guys. All right, so we're ready to talk about some payroll time and attendance. The first thing we're going to touch on is your employee identification number. So all employees of the district are assigned an employee ID number. It is a randomly generated number, 6 digits long. It starts with a 3. Try to commit that number to memory. If you ever forget, it is printed on the back of your ID badge just to kind of help you out. But that number is what you're going to use to access a lot of systems in our district. So it's good to have that number memorized. As Dr. Carlson alluded to earlier, everyone's job has a payroll classification. So your position is classified based on your job description under the Fair Labor Standards Act as either exempt or non-exempt. So for example, a teacher is exempt. So a teacher's position is exempt. Their position, they're expected to be able to, how do I word that differently? Their position, they would be expected to work as many hours as necessary to complete their position, and they're not eligible for overtime pay. Whereas a non-exempt employee is expected that it is anticipated that their position, their job, their role would be completed during their scheduled hours. So if their time exceeds that, then they would be eligible for time and a half if they go over 40 hours in a work week. So to see if your position is eligible for overtime or not, if you are exempt or non-exempt, I apologize for the sound in the background, you are going to look at this chart here and look at your position and see if based on your position is non-exempt or exempt. So I'll give you just a second to look that over. You did receive a copy of this presentation attached to the email I sent to you this morning as well. So for pay, exempt staff are paid once a month on the 28th of the month. When employed for a full year, you're paid 1/12 of your contract. So you are paid year-round, even if you only work 9 months out of the year, okay? Non-exempt staff are paid semi-monthly. That's twice a month on the 15th and the 28th of the month. Non-exempt staff are paid essentially salaried but non-exempt. So what the district does is annualizes your pay. So we take the hourly rate that you were quoted, so your hourly rate times the number of hours you're scheduled to work a day. So we'll take a bus driver, for example. So we'll take the bus driver's hourly rate times 5 hours a day that they're scheduled to work on their compensation summary, times the number of days remaining on their working calendar, and then we get an annualized salary. So that's their pay for the remainder of this school year. So then we take that amount and we divide it into equal payments over the remaining payrolls for the year. If they were here for a full school year, it'd be 24 pay periods. But since they're here, you guys are coming in mid-year, it's not going to be a full 24 or 12 pay periods, okay? A bus driver, in our example, would be paid from September 15th through August 28th of the following year, okay? So most of you may have received some hourly pay previously, and then several of you have already received a compensation summary check, and some of you won't receive your first compensation summary check until December 15th. So your pay varies depending on when your compensation summary started. New teachers joining us, your first compensation summary pay would be contract pay would be December 28th. So there's varying schedules on when your first paycheck will occur. If you have a question about when you can expect your first paycheck, you can contact our payroll department, and their contact information will be at the very end of this presentation. So again, you have a copy of this. So that very last page is going to give you who to contact for questions on each section that we've talked about today, okay? So that's how your pay is calculated. And again, you're paid 12 months out of the year, even though you may only work 9 months of the year, okay? Your pay then is mailed to you. Your check is mailed to you until you set up direct deposit. Direct deposit is mandatory, and we will walk through with you today how to set that up. Any questions on how pay is calculated at this point, Sarah?
No.
Perfect. So we're going to take just a few minutes to talk through our time and attendance system, which is Workforce. It is a web-based application. You have a couple options to track your attendance. You can use the kiosk, which most people will do. Those kiosks are typically just inside the building in the office, maybe in a workroom, often in the cafeteria. It depends on your building. You can take your badge and swipe it. You can see on the screen there's usually a little badge swiper. You're going to take that barcode that is coded to your employee ID number, and you're going to swipe your badge. It's going to activate that touch screen for you to tap the screen and either time in or time out, okay? You also usually will have a keypad there where you can type your employee ID number. With COVID, a lot of people would prefer to scan, so we're not all touching the same keyboard. And then you also have the option to, if you come into work and you go right to a laptop, you can set it up so that it pops up and you go right to the WebClock website and time in and out from there. But that would usually be just when you're on site and you're working at a computer for your normal shift. If you don't work at a computer, that wouldn't be a convenient way to do that. Exempt staff are expected to mark your attendance once per day. That is for a couple reasons, to track PTO or vacation usage. Absences are in half and whole day increments. So if you're absent half a day, you are going to mark your attendance the other half a day. And it's also for safety in attendance. So we want to make sure that classrooms are covered and duties are covered so that there's supervision for students and that there's someone there to cover your duties, but also in case of an emergency so that we would know who was in the building and who we needed to account for. Non-exempt staff, because FLSA requires employers to document all the hours that you work so that you can be paid overtime for any hours that exceed 40, and also so your employer can pay you for any hours that you work up to 40 hours. You do have to time in when you begin work and out when you stop work. That's the same if you have an unpaid lunch break in your shift as well. If you're unsure if you have an unpaid lunch break, talk to your supervisor and they can let you know that. I know we have many people on the call today who have split shifts, bus drivers and monitors, for example, will have a morning route and then an afternoon route. So you would time in at the start of your route, out when you're done, and when you return for your afternoon route, you would time back in and then time out at the end of that route. Exception time is any time that is different from your typical schedule. So if you work an additional 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, or you work less than your scheduled time, so you're short 15 minutes, you're short an hour, that's exception time. So that's time that is going to be either paid in addition to your contract pay or deducted or docked from your time on your contract pay as a separate line item on your paycheck. If you're ever curious, say you worked extra on a day and you want to see when that's going to be paid to you, there is a district payroll calendar on our district website that you can view on the staff page to see when that will pay. And I'm going to pull that up over here so you can see what that looks like. So for example, Today is December the 2nd. So if you're curious to know when you would be paid for additional time today, so say today's meeting is outside your normal working hours, December 2nd falls within this November 29th to December 5th. You would be paid for today's meeting on December 28th's paycheck. Okay, so that's how you would see that. Same if you had to leave early and you didn't have time off, or you had to leave early and you did have time off and you wanted to know when that time off would process on your paycheck. That's how you would see that. It is your responsibility to ensure your time card is accurate. So we do ask that you check that on a weekly basis just to make sure that all of your punches are there, that they're accurate. We do rely on our email system to notify you when the system finds an error, but technology sometimes doesn't work the way we expect it to, so it's always best for you to just double check and make sure that everything is there. The system can't tell if you say you time in the morning and you time in when you leave. I'm infamous for that. I'm always timing in instead of out. So say you time in the morning and then you time out when you leave for the day. The system isn't smart enough to assume that that in at the end of the day was an out punch. So it can't calculate your day. So the next day you're going to receive an email that says, hey, there's a goof on your timesheet for yesterday. Take a look at it. And then there's a correct my timesheet link in there that you can click to submit a request for someone in the payroll department to manually correct your timesheet. Okay. There's also in our email system, if you're an exempt staff member, at 11 o'clock in the morning on any day, if you have not yet timed in for that day, it will send you a reminder to time in for that day. We do also ask now as a new hire that you confirm the schedule we have loaded in the system is correct. We would hate for it to say you're supposed to work 7 hours a day, you think you're supposed to work 5 hours a day, because that can get really messy, okay? So I'm gonna show you real quickly how to review your time card, okay? So you're gonna visit our staff page at staff.lsr7.org. You're gonna click Workforce here under Payroll and Timekeeping. And you're going to log in. The first time you log in, your employee ID number is your username and your password. It's going to prompt you to change that password to something else. If you ever forget that password, there is a web clock password reset right here on that staff page. Okay, so once you're in, your dashboard will look something like this. You're going to click Review My Timesheet. And this is what a timesheet would look like. This is a timesheet for someone who has a non-exempt employee who has an off-the-clock lunch break, okay? So they have an in punch and an out punch within each row, and they're punching out for lunch and then back in when they return from lunch, okay? So the system's looking at each day, and it's doing quarter-hour rounding on the day, and then it's totaling for the week. It's comparing each day to the number of hours this employee is scheduled to work for that day at 7.5. Okay, so that's the schedule down here. So here's where we want you to look and make sure the schedule is accurate. At the end of the day, it's still, humans entering that in. So if that's entered incorrectly, we would want to know. If you're ever unsure if you've exceeded your hours, because all overtime must be approved by your supervisor. So if you have worked, say you exceeded, you were there 9 minutes past your time, and you're not sure if that turns into overtime or not. I was not sure why that popped back in there. You're not sure if that turned into overtime or not. You can click on the pay preview tab, and that'll tell you how each day is rounding, okay? Again, it's doing quarter-hour rounding on the day, so you can see that Monday on this week rounded to 7.75 hours. So you can see this individual, it rounded up 15 minutes each day. So at the end of the week, on Friday, this person only needed to work 6.5 hours to complete their 37.5 hour contract. So because they still exceeded that by 1.25 hours, they have straight OT of 1.25 hours. So what is straight OT? Straight OT is straight overtime. So that means it's additional hours, but it doesn't exceed 40, so it's at their straight hourly rate, not time and a half. If they exceeded 40 hours, it would say overtime, which is time and a half. Okay. So that's kind of how you can see that. Now, if you had gone over by 15 minutes, even, you would need to have that conversation with your supervisor and let them know that so they could determine how to handle that additional time. So then absence reporting, there is a link in the presentation. You just click on this document and you can pull the whole document to determine based on your position whether you use Kelly Educational Staffing or Workforce to enter your absences. And then there is a full video on the website that's linked at the beginning that walks you through how to enter an absence in either of these systems, okay? So when you look at the sheet and it tells you which to do, if it says Workforce next to your position, then you're going to use Workforce to enter your absences and time off requests. So to review requests and cancel time off, you'll do that here in Workforce. If it says Kelly Educational Staffing, Lisa Goebel will show you how to do that in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to show you where, and the videos to walk through all the steps are on our website. So back on that dashboard, still in Workforce, you'll click Request, Cancel, Review Time Off. And then you're going to click Create New Requests to create one. If you want to cancel one, you click on it in the list. If you want to review a past or current one, you can just view the list. You can't edit them, so if you want to change it, you have to click on it to cancel it. Click Cancel Request and Submit. And then submit a new one to replace it. So I know there's a lot of information in Workforce. Does anyone have any questions?
There was one question in the chat. If they are unable to use the time clock, what do they do? So I did put in the chat a link to the modification form that would need to be filled out.
Perfect. So from there, I apologize, Lisa, I did not change this back to you. But Lisa Goebel is going to walk you through how to submit a request for time off in Kelly Educational Staffing for those of you that applies to you.
Thank you, Erin.
Lisa, you're muted, hon.
Sorry about that. I thought I had clicked it. Sorry. Good morning. We'll try this again. I'm Lisa Goebel. I work in human resources and I work with the Kelly Educational Staffing. You should have received an email that looked like it came from me and it says, "Welcome to Frontline." In that email, it's going to have your login and your PIN information. It will also give you a link to information on how to enter an absence and how to set up some things for you. So if you did not get that email, you will want to email me and let me know so we can make sure you get that. When you're looking for Kelly Educational Staffing or Frontline to enter an absence, that is going to be under Human Resources, under Kelly Services. Down below that, you'll see info. That will take you to the information sheet, and there's a video that you can watch on how to enter your absence. Scheduling is the scheduling center where you'll go in and enter your PIN to log into the system. And then there is our link there if you forgot your ID and username. But that information comes from Kelly Services, so you can email me and I can forward it to them to give that information to you, or you can call their number and they will be able to give you that as well. And that is on the information screen when you look into on the Human Resources under Kelly Services. This is what it looks like once you log in. You don't have to put a start and end date. If it's just one day, you would just click on the calendar. That date, if it's several days, you would click each day that you're going to be out. Then over on the right under absence reasons, you would click on this down arrow, it'll give you a list of reasons. You would click on what the reason would be. If it's professional development, there's different ones, or just personal day, that type of thing. The time is going to default to your building time. So this may not be your actual start and end time. So you always want to make sure you look at that and make any changes that are necessary. You can call call them and have them permanently add your time there, so you don't have to do it each time. But otherwise, you do it each time. It's not going to save that. Then over to the right, the substitute required. If for some reason you don't need one that day, you want to be sure you click no, because if a sub shows up and they're not needed, we have to pay for that person, at least pay them 2 hours while they're there. Down below, you'll want to give a brief note to the administrator. You can add notes to the substitute, especially if you're a resource aide and you work outside. You want to make sure that they are aware that they need to dress for the weather. Excuse me. Then you would, if you want to create and assign a sub that you've already spoke to, you would click on this link right here, and this will bring you to another screen that you can enter the sub's name. You only want to do that if you've spoken to that person. Otherwise, they may deny it, and then it sits out in the system. If you just wanted to go to the pool, you would create an absence, and you would click on that. And then it's going to let you review and confirm. And then it will, once you've done that, it will give you a confirmation number. That tells you that you have done it all, have entered it, and it's out there in the system. There are some ways that you can edit on here. The reasons that it can't be the day of or the morning of, it has to be prior to that. You can change the date, the reasons, the sub required, but the day of and the morning of, you would not be able to make any changes or cancel. You will have to call them to do that. And you would not be able to change any absence codes, which I don't think most people have access to that anyway. But anything that you aren't sure about, or you can't, don't know what you can do on there, just give them a call at the scheduling center, and they'll help you through that or enter it for you. And then at the top is where you would, on the left-hand corner and at the top and the bottom, there's an edit button. That's where you would click on to make those changes. Over on the right, top and bottom, the delete, that's when you would cancel. And like I said, you cannot cancel the day before or if it's already passed. Those would have to be done by the scheduling center. And we talked earlier about you not being able to change the day of, the morning of, or enter an absence. If you wake up and you're not feeling well and you try to go online and enter your absence, it most likely will not let you. If it's 2 hours within your start time, you'll have to call them to have them enter that for you. And if you have any special requests. Is there any questions?
No.
Okay, if you think of any, be sure just email me or give me a call. I'm happy to help you through that. I also work with emergency days. Emergency days applies to all staff in the district. These are the days before or after a holiday, professional development days. This calendar tells you what days are considered an emergency day. These days are days that you have to have approval from Human Resources to take off. We have a request form now that is located on the staff page. It is under payroll and timekeeping, and also under Kelly Services under Human Resources. You would complete this form. It will, and let them know the date that you need off, the reason you need off. Your supervisor will approve it, and then it will shoot to us for the final approval. Most likely it's going to be approved, but it may or may not be with pay. Just depends on the reason that you are requesting. The last week of school is always an emergency day, but that last week can change if we have any snow days or we miss a lot of school. So you always want to make sure you don't plan a vacation right after that, because it could be that school gets extended and those become emergency days. And those, if you're taking a trip, those days are going to be days without pay. These are the reasons that would be approved with pay. So when you look at this list, and if it's a medical reason or a wedding, that type of thing, then those would be the ones that are going to be approved with pay. But a trip or we're just going out of town, those will be approved, but it will be without pay most likely. Did anybody have any questions on those?
No.
Okay, well, be sure to email us or call us if you do. We're always happy to help. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, good morning. I am Julie Ruling, and I work in the Business Services Department here at the school district. And we're going to go over a couple of quick things, primarily the Employee Online System, but we're going to talk about first the quick reference guide that you should have a copy of. It's on the opposite side of something that they have already talked about as far as whether you need to use Kelly or Workforce. But this quick reference guide is just a handy thing to have with you. It's going to tell you your the district website, and it's going to tell you the initial passwords, user ID and passwords to get into the different systems in the district, and there are a lot. So it's going to have your district Gmail, your Employee Online, insurance enrollment, Kelly Educational Staffing, and Workforce and Web Clock. So that's just handy to have around, and it'll give you your initial passwords. So, and that's all we need to talk about that one. We're going to move on to Employee Online. And Employee Online, you should have received some information on that from HR after the hiring process. Employee Online is a web-based system that allows employees access to their personal payroll and benefit information. You can go into this system and make some changes, and that normally you would probably have to come in or stop by or call and make those changes, but now you can just do them from the comfort of your home. So we're going to kind of show you some things that we would like for you to do initially in the system for us. So we're going to show you how. That is located, the Employee Online system is located on the district website under the staff page, kind of where we've been today so far, and then under the employee section and apps and records, and then Employee Online. And then there's a blue link there where it says go to Employee Online. If you click on that, and then your user ID is your employee ID number, and your password is your full social security number. So we're going to get logged in using that.
And Julie, could you give me that employee ID number?
Yes, it's 332-642.
Thank you.
Yep. And so when you get logged in using your social as your password, it's going to give you a prompt to change your password to something other than your social. And say like a month from now you try to log back in and you can't remember what you changed your password to. There is a forgot login link there that you can use to reset your password there. So we're going to go ahead and get logged in. Okay, and this is the home page. It's probably going to have the most important information on it. It has the next pay date and the changes, the deadline to make changes for your next pay. So this at the bottom says the next pay date for this person is December 15th. Requests made in Employee Online prior to 11:59 p.m. and on December 2nd will be considered for the check on 12:15. So you can make changes for the 12:15 check up to today's the 2nd. So if you want to set up your direct deposit, we'll show you how to do that. So we're going to first show you the menu there at the top of the screen. If you click on that, there's a drop-down arrow. We're going to just kind of show you what we need for you to do. First, go to the personal information link, and then over on the personal information, this is just your personal information that we have on file for you. We would just like for you to look at this information, make sure we have the most accurate information. If you're seeing something that we've missed, please feel free to add that. If you need to change a phone number, add a phone number, or if you need to come in and you can actually make an address change here. If you're moving to Lee Summit from another town, you can certainly do that out here, and this will change your address with everything on in our records. So you won't have to call HR or anything like that. You can just do that right here. Once you do make those changes, you want to be sure to click the little, looks like a disc in the top right corner to make sure your changes are saved. Okay, next thing we're going to go to is employee personal information, and then we're going to do the emergency contacts. This is anyone that you would want us to contact should you have a medical emergency in the district. And there's, if you can see it, there's a little plus sign that you can use to add your primary or your contact. Let's think in here. Maybe. Well,
I didn't
we'll
mean to
kind of
stump it. I'm
I
sorry.
know, no, you're good. Once you get in here, you can add like the person's name, their contact information. You can designate a primary. You can do as many as you want, just as long as we have the most important contact information that that we have. And in between each one, you'd have to click save and then re-click. So we'll see if, I don't know if it's, what's going on with it, but hopefully. Try it again. Just there you go. There you go. You can kind of see that just name, and you can designate a primary contact there in that primary contact box. You can put in your relationship, and then at the bottom just put any phone numbers or contact information, and then just click save. That little disc is on every page pretty much, and just click that and save your information. All righty. Okay, we will move on and we'll go back up to the menu, and we were going to go into your payroll information, and we're going to set up direct deposit. So if you click on that direct deposit link, there's directions at the top there in the red that you can use to set that up, but there is a little plus sign as well. The bank routing number, that would be, you want to type in your bank name. It's a little kind of confusing. Type in your bank name, and then it would populate the different banks that have a routing number out to the side. So if you say Security Bank, out to the side, it says the routing number is 10-100-4280. That's the one you would want to choose, and then just click save if that's your correct routing number. There are you want to make sure that there's a lot of different bank names that have different routing numbers. So just make sure you choose the right one there. And then you want to add your account number. Click on that little pencil there, and then type in your account number, full account number. Make sure that you're pretty accurate with that. We always test these with the bank to make sure that we don't have any issues, but just in case. And then choose the type of account, and whether it's a checking or savings, and then you don't have to do anything with that net under amount type. You just leave that alone. And then, as always, just click that little save in the top right corner. Now, and when you're putting this in, be sure you're looking back at that first page so you know what date that's going to become effective. But usually it's about a 13-day deadline. So our deadline to make changes for the next paycheck would be about 13 days prior. So if you get that done by today, it looks like it could be done if you have pay on the 12/15 check. And if you get in here and it doesn't recognize your bank, sometimes we have a lot of banks in our system, but sometimes if you have an out-of-town bank or something, we may not have that in our system. So you can shoot me an email and I'll be happy to add that, and then you can go back in and take care of that. Okay, one more thing here. We're going to go back up to the menu, and then we're going to go to payroll information, and we're going to go to the check stub. Once you set up direct deposit, you will no longer receive a paper paycheck. It will all be electronic, and so you'll see your paychecks out here, pay stubs. Under that check date there, you'll see all of the check dates that are check stubs that you have, with the most accurate, most current being at the top. Then there's the check number and your description, your check amount, but you can actually click on them and see the actual, looks just like a paper pay stub. It has all of your information. And then once you set up for different deductions, you can actually, if you're not sure what the deductions are, you can go to that pay code definitions link. And there's about 4 different pages of different pay codes that you could see on your paycheck. So you want to scan, and they're pretty much in alphabetical order, so you can scan through those and see which ones you might be on your check. If you can't figure that out or you don't see them, just give us a call and we'll be happy to help you with that. And that is all on the check stub. We will look at under benefits and deductions, miscellaneous payroll. Erin will go over some of that information, but under miscellaneous payroll deductions, there are a lot of things you can sign up for. One of the things, if you live in Kansas City, you can actually sign up for the Kansas City earnings tax out here. So all you would need to do is just click on that and then just click save. You don't need to type anything in there. That would automatically go in and add that Kansas City earnings tax to your paycheck. So I think there's just a lot of things that you can explore, and Erin will talk about more out here, but I think that is all that we have to talk about right now. Do we have any questions?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you. You can give me a call at any time. My number is 986. Oh, well, there is an employee directory. We also haven't talked about that, but if you need to contact me about your direct deposit or anything, any payroll, workforce related issues, happy to help you with anything. You can just put in my name and then it'll bring up my email address and my phone number, 986-1047. So if you need any help, I'm happy to help.
Apologize. So now we are going to talk about the retirement systems that the district is a part of. It is the Public School and Education Employee Retirement Systems of Missouri. All right, so PEERS is really known as non-teacher retirement. So you are required to participate in the PEERS retirement program if you are in a position that does not require certification and you're working at least 20 hours a week. If you are in a position that requires certification, that is our teacher retirement or PSRS. Membership is also required for employees that are working at least 17 hours per week in a position that requires certification. We sometimes have folks that hold a Missouri teacher certificate, but they work in a position that doesn't require certification. So that's a special piece of PSRS where Social Security is deducted. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, but membership is required by the state, and we will automatically enroll you in the correct retirement system. So the contributions that will be deducted from your paycheck are a pre-tax percent of your gross salary. You also will pay retirement on district paid medical, dental, and HSA contributions. For those of you in non-teacher retirement or PEERS, 6.86% will be deducted. For teacher retirement or PSRS, 14.5% will be deducted. And for those that you may have a teaching certificate, but in a role that doesn't require one, that percent deduction is 9.67%. The district is required to match your contributions, but the district's contribution never are your funds to take. That's the district's part of helping fund all of the retiree payments. So the vesting period, which I always find this interesting, we're talking to you about retirement and you've only started. So, but it is something just for you to be aware of. So once you have earned 5 years of service credit with PSRS or PEERS, then you are considered vested. And then you would be eligible to receive lifetime retirement benefits when you reach age and service requirements. Okay, so our retirement systems are considered a defined benefit plan. If you think of a traditional 401k, the funds that you put in, you would get back, but once all those funds are gone, there isn't anything else there. That is not how our retirement systems worked. The benefits, once you meet the eligibility requirements, what the retirement system will do, they will use a formula to calculate what your retirement benefits would be. And that formula is based upon your top 3 highest consecutive salaries on record, your years of retirement service credit, and then the benefit factor that is set by the Missouri legislature. All right, so when can you retire with normal benefits? Really, when we look at this, our retirement system, we have employees that can retire at a very young age. So you can retire at age 60 with at least 5 years of credit, at any age with at least 30 years of credit, or the rule of 80, which is your age plus your years of credit equal 80 or more. You could retire with early reduced benefits at age 55 with at least 5 years of credit, or at any age with at least 25 years of credit. So Erin, do we have any questions?
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay, great, thank you. So now let's talk about, is PSRS Peers retirement benefit going to be enough to sustain you through retirement? So the district offers payroll deductions into additional retirement accounts called a 403B or a 457. We not only can take those deductions pre-tax, you could also set them up as a Roth or an after-tax deduction. We are part of the CSD Retirement Trust, and the accounts are managed by AIG Retirement Services. As members of the CSD Retirement Trust, our administrative fees that you would pay for these accounts are very low, so we are happy to be part of that group. So a 403B 457 allows you to accumulate additional retirement savings. As I said, you can do a pre-tax or an after-tax payroll deduction. Those funds would grow, and then you could use these funds to purchase years of credit with PSRS or peers. All right, so Roth, as I talked about, is an after-tax deduction. So your withdrawals for either a would be tax-free if certain conditions are met, and you see those listed there on your screen. All right, so here we've listed out the differences for you in a 457 versus a 403B account. And really the biggest difference with a 457, there would be no 10% IRS penalty if you withdrew the funds prior to age 59 and a half after separation of service. With a 403B, there is a 10% charge there, and then you can see the in-service distribution difference in age on those two accounts. All right, so if you are interested in setting up a 403B or 457 account with AIG, you can reach out to one of our two financial advisors that work on behalf of the CSD with our district employees. We've also provided you a website address, and I know Erin emailed you this presentation earlier today, so you can click on that link and it will take you to more information. Okay, any questions, Erin?
No questions in the chat.
Great, thank you. All right, to quickly go over your insurance effective date and your eligibility, if you're in this meeting today, you are eligible to participate in the district's insurance plan. The insurance effective date, Erin, will we have a screen that will show that for everyone?
We do, and I missed a screen that says December 31st, 2020. It should say 2021.
Okay, so the elections that you choose now will be for the calendar year 2021. So that means January 1st, 2021 through December 31st of 21. So here, if you find your position, it will tell you when your insurance is effective. So it looks like probably everyone on the call today, your insurance will start January 1st, 2021. So our payroll deductions and district contributions do begin the month prior to the effective date. So your December paycheck will pay for January coverage. If you sign up for one of the district's high deductible health plans, the HSA and HRA contributions will begin in the month that your coverage starts. So those would begin in January. So who's eligible for our medical, dental, and vision insurance? You can sign yourself up, your legal spouse, as well as your dependent children to the end of the calendar year that they reach age 26. If you have dependent children that are incapable of self-care, then you can also cover them beyond age 26. For life insurance, you again can cover yourself, your legal spouse, and your dependent children. And looks like on that slide that is no longer accurate for our life insurance effective January 1st. Your dependent children and legal spouse can be members of the armed forces and be eligible for our coverage. And that's correct, right, Erin?
That's correct. I missed getting that taken off the slide. That's just effective as of January 1st.
Okay, so making changes during the year. As I mentioned earlier, the benefits you sign up for now will be good for all of 2021. You are able to add yourself, drop yourself, or eligible family members throughout the year if you experience an eligible qualifying event. And the most common examples of those would be marriage, divorce, birth, adoption, spouse loses coverage, has a job that now has gained coverage. So you would be allowed to make those types of changes throughout the year. You will not be able to change plans. So you can't sign up for one medical plan and change to a different medical plan during 2021. And then just to let you know, if you do waive a benefit now, you will not have an opportunity to enroll in that benefit unless you have the qualifying event or our next open enrollment. So open enrollment would be a year from now, when you would be eligible to make all the changes you wanted without a qualifying event, but those changes would not be effective until 2022. Okay, so how do you complete your new hire enrollment? Again, refer to this presentation. You can go to the district's benefits website and there will be a link as well as step-by-step instructions on how to complete your enrollment. So even if you are going to waive all of our coverage, you still have to go online and complete the enrollment process. And we do need you to have that completed by Sunday, December 6th, because we've got to turn around and get that into our payroll that we are running next week. So if you could please get that done by Sunday, we would appreciate that. All right, Erin, any questions?
Nope, no questions in the chat.
All right, the first benefit that we are going to talk to you about is the district's Complete Health and Wellness Center, operated by Care Here. So the district's Complete Health and Wellness Center is basically an employee clinic just for district employees and then family members that are covered under the district's medical plan. So I think we'll go ahead and watch a video because it explains the Health and Wellness Center very well.
Welcome to the Complete Health and Wellness Center operated by Care Here. During the next few minutes, you will learn about the services available at the center. Why Care Here? When you wake up in the middle of the night, there's no waiting until morning to see if an appointment is available tomorrow. You can log into your account and schedule your appointment the minute you realize you need to see a medical provider. When you arrive at your appointment, you won't be sitting with a room full of other sick people because Care Here never overbooks and the average wait time in Care Here facilities is less than 2 minutes. Sound pretty good? So let's see if you are eligible for this exceptional benefit. Lee Summit R7 school district employees, pre-Medicare retirees, COBRA, spouses, and dependents over the age of 2 that are participants in the LSR7 health plan are all eligible to receive care in the Complete Health and Wellness Center. All employees, regardless of health plan enrollment, are able to access the center for work-related injuries. So what does an exceptional benefit like this cost you and your family? There is no cost for preventive services. Examples of preventive services include health risk assessments, annual well exams, health coaching, and vaccinations. Due to IRS regulations, there will be a minimal fee for HSA and retiree high-deductible health plan participants for non-preventive services. There is no cost for HMO, PPO, and HRA plan participants for non-preventive services. Examples of non-preventive services include sick visits, disease management, injury treatment, and non-preventive lab work. But Care Here isn't just beneficial to your wallet. Your calendar and clock will like Care Here too. You can't talk about Care Here without talking about convenience. There is little to no wait time. All appointments are a minimum of 20 minutes, but more time can be scheduled if needed. Appointments can be scheduled online or by the telephone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can even talk to a nurse over the phone through the support center when the center isn't open. And Care Here is completely confidential. Care Here will never share your protected information or medical records with the district. Care Here is equipped in more ways than one to help you when you are sick and to help you from getting sick less often. In the center, Care Here can treat primary care acute needs such as the common cold, the flu, earaches, minor cuts, and sore throat. Care Here can also treat chronic needs such as diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and much more. We are accustomed to a very reactionary system of healthcare. We get sick, we go to the doctor. That's why Care Here partners with every patient to guide them down a path of health and wellness with their extensive preventive care services, including lab work, health risk assessments, health coaching, and well health exams. Even though there is a lot about Care Here that is different from your typical healthcare experience, Care Here provides these primary care and preventive services in an environment that is safe, confidential, and feels familiar. The center will be equipped with all the things you are used to seeing in a doctor's office. You will be greeted by friendly faces and be treated in private, secure exam rooms. The Complete Health and Wellness Center is located in Lee Summit, Missouri at 600 Northwest Murray Road, Suite 103. The center will be open Monday through Saturday during the hours listed on the screen. Remember, appointments are required. When you visit the Complete Health and Wellness Center, these are the individuals that will be taking pride in serving you and your healthcare needs. The district is excited to offer this benefit. We hope you are too. Care Here staff looks forward to meeting you and helping you make your way down the path of preventive health and wellness. District resources are here to help and support you as well. Contact our 7 staff for additional information.
All right, very good. Thank you, Erin, for getting that video for us. So that was a very good explanation of the resources. And really, the Health and Wellness Center provides quality, affordable care to those employees and their family members who are enrolled on a district medical plan. So what we'll want you to do January 1st or after, you'll want to go ahead and get registered at the Care Here website. So that way you've got in all of your information. So if you happen to wake up sick in the middle of the night, you can quickly log in to their website or on their mobile app and request an appointment. So, all right, Erin, any questions on the Health and Wellness Center?
Okay, one question says, the slideshow says the website has step-by-step instructions for enrollment. Where can that be found? And I can actually answer that, Lillian. In the email that I sent to you this morning, it links you to our new hire companion website. And one of the very first things at the top of that page are step-by-step enrollment instructions. They're also at the very bottom of the page as well. Along with the Enroll Now link at the top of the page.
And just to clarify, that's for your benefit enrollment,
Correct.
Not registering for the Care Here site.
Correct.
Thank you, Erin. I think now I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. So we're going to jump into your medical coverage. Our medical plans are offered through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. And we're going to watch just, I think, 2 more videos today. We do have a wide variety of videos available to you on that new hire page, as well as on our website in addition to those videos. So I do encourage you to spend some time once you go to that new hire companion website, you can navigate around on our benefits webpage and find a wealth of information about our benefits, including the Complete Health and Wellness Center, our medical, dental, vision benefits, and more. So I encourage you to spend some time looking around the website to see all the additional information that's available to you. So real quickly, we're going to watch a video that's going to talk through our medical plans and just kind of some of the differences between them to help you set the stage for what plan might be best for you. Decisions, decisions, decisions. There are so many decisions to make when you're reviewing your medical plan options. Your needs are specific to you and your family, and there is no one-size-fits-all medical plan. We offer you 4 medical plan options, all with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City, to allow flexibility based on your needs. Have no fear. Business Services is here to help you make the most of your medical plan. To start, let's touch on some of the medical terminology you will hear. A copay is a set price you pay for a service. The HMO and EPO plans have copays. A deductible is the amount you pay out of pocket before Blue Cross begins to pay a share of your healthcare expenses. Both high deductible health plans have medical deductibles. The HMO and EPO plans have prescription drug deductibles. Coinsurance is also known as cost sharing after you satisfy your deductible. Blue Cross will pay a percentage of the costs, and so will you. Picture your out-of-pocket maximum as a bucket that all your covered expenses help fill throughout the year. Those expenses include all medical and prescription deductibles, copays, and coinsurance you pay. What do you need to consider when looking at your medical plan options? Ask yourself, what is my cost comfort level? Do I need to cover family members or just myself? How often do I or my family see a doctor? Do I or my family need ongoing medical care, have a chronic condition, or take maintenance medications? Do I or my family have a specific doctor or hospital we would like to or need to use? For most of us, the dollars deducted out of our paychecks are also an important consideration when selecting a medical plan. Let's call these payroll deductions upfront costs. But what about the costs you pay when you receive care, such as copays and deductibles? We'll call those pay-as-you-go costs. Generally speaking, when your upfront costs are higher, your pay-as-you-go costs will be lower. And on the flip side, when your pay-as-you-go costs are higher, your upfront costs are lower. Now keep in mind, there are some services on the district plans that have no pay-as-you-go costs. You don't just see the doctor when you're sick, right? Routine preventive care is a vital part of maintaining your health. All of the district plans allow you to receive routine preventive care services at no cost to you when you use the Complete Health and Wellness Center or an in-network provider. These services include routine physicals, recommended immunizations, mammograms, colonoscopies, and more. You may also enroll your legal spouse and dependent children. Children are eligible until the end of the calendar year in which they turn 26. They don't need to live at home or be a student. They can even be married or eligible for coverage through their own employer. Dependent children over age 26 who are incapable of self-care are also eligible for coverage. Reach out to Business Services for more information. If you need to cover your family, be sure to consider your spouse and children's healthcare needs when selecting a plan. Another thing to consider is how often you and your family visit the doctor. This can make a big difference in your healthcare costs. If you or your dependents have an ongoing chronic condition, you may visit the doctor more frequently, and you may take maintenance medications to help manage your symptoms. Now that we've covered the costs associated with the plans, let's discuss the network options. The HMO plan requires you to use providers in the Blue Care network. The Blue Care Network is a smaller local network. Remember, there is no coverage if you see an out-of-network doctor or go to an out-of-network hospital on the HMO plan, except in a life or limb-threatening emergency. The EPO and Preferred Care Blue high-deductible health plans allow you to use providers in the Preferred Care Blue network. The Preferred Care Blue network is a large national and international network. The Preferred Care Blue high-deductible health plan allows you to use the out-of-network providers. However, your costs increase, and the providers can bill you beyond the Blue Cross Blue Shield contracted amounts. There is no coverage if you see an out-of-network doctor or go to an out-of-network hospital on the EPO plan, except in a life or limb-threatening emergency. The Blue Select Plus high-deductible health plan allows you to use providers in the Blue Select Plus network. When you are in the greater KC area, you should access providers in this network. You have the freedom to use out-of-network providers. However, your costs increase dramatically, and the providers can bill you beyond the Blue Cross contracted amounts. If you live or are traveling outside of the greater Kansas City area or have kids away at college, the National Blue Card Network can be utilized to receive in-network care and coverage. When in-network providers are used, your pay-as-you-go costs will be lower than when out-of-network providers are used. Check to see what network your doctors and preferred hospitals participate in by calling Blue Cross at the number on your screen or visit bluekc.com. You can also find Blue Cross provider directories on the LSR7 benefits website. You might want to consider Okay. So a couple key things on that video that I want to make sure that you took away on the network differences, that you need to make sure that you're looking at whether the physicians and hospitals that you utilize are in the network that you're selecting. And then looking at how the different plans, there are 4 different plans we're going to look at, and they work a little differently from each other. So just how those plans work. Again, this video is available on our website. It does walk through those differerences, and then there's other videos that walk through those plans even more in detail and compare how they work. There's even a video that walks through, real life medical plan, a year in the life scenarios of claim examples and things like that, if that would be helpful. So the HMO plan is with the Blue Care Network. This is the HMO network. This network includes all of the area hospitals with the exception of St. Luke's hospitals and St. Luke's physicians. They do not participate in this network. This plan does not have a deductible. There are set copays for services. Those copays are going to apply to this out-of-pocket maximum for the year, and then once you've reached your out-of-pocket maximum, the plan's going to pay 100% of your services. Okay, you have a $40 copay for a primary care office visit, $80 copay for a specialist, it's $80 copay for urgent care, $200 for an emergency room visit, and then $500 for an outpatient surgery or per day inpatient in the hospital. That's capped at $5 for a $2,500 hospital copay maximum. Okay, so those are your most commonly used copays there. Again, those are all applying to that $6,500 individual maximum, $13,000 maximum for a family. Obviously, it's going to be pretty hard to hit that. It's not a challenge, but it is going to be a little hard to hit that $6,500 with a $2,500 cap on your hospital copays for the year. To give you a little scenario on those hospital copays, if you had an outpatient surgery, say in January, and then in March you had a 10-day inpatient stay in the hospital, you'd have paid $500 for your January surgery, okay? And then you would pay $2,000 for 4 of those 10 days for your hospital stay in March. And then for the rest of the year, as well as the rest of that stay in March, all of your outpatient surgeries and inpatient hospital services would be paid 100% because you'd have hit that $2,500 cap for that calendar year. Okay, now you'd still pay for office visits for primary care specialists, you'd still pay for imaging services, prescriptions, et cetera, until you hit the out-of-pocket maximum overall, but your hospital services would be covered. It's like it's going backwards before it goes forwards for some reason. I apologize for that. So the next plan we're going to look at here is the EPO plan. It is pretty similar to the HMO. It's structured very similarly, and it is still a copay driven plan. Okay, so you still have set copays for services, no deductible for medical, and you have an out-of-pocket maximum. In this case, it's a little lower at $5,000 for an individual, $10,000 for a family. Your primary care copay is still $40, specialist is still $80. Urgent care is also $80, and your emergency room copay again is $200. Your hospital copay works the same way, but it's $450 instead of $500, so it's a little bit lower, and it's still capped at $5, so you have a $2,250 maximum for hospital services. But it works the same way. If you had that same scenario where you had a 10-day hospital stay, you would pay for 5 days of that stay, or if you had an inpatient or outpatient surgery earlier in the year and a 10-day inpatient stay later, you'd pay for the surgery and then 4 days of that 10-day hospital stay. Either way, you're not going to exceed 5 $450 copays in a calendar year. Once you've hit that $2,250 max, the plan is going to pay 100% of your outpatient and inpatient hospital services for the rest of the year, but you're still going to pay copays for your office visits, imaging services, all those things, copays for prescriptions, etc. Okay, until you hit the $5,000 or $10,000 out-of-pocket maximum. This plan has the larger Preferred Care Blue network, so you're going to see a larger network of providers to choose from, but it's still in network coverage only, just like the HMO. This plan does include St. Luke's, but it does not include St. Joseph and St. Mary's medical centers. Okay. The HMO and EPO both have the same prescription drug plan attached to them. It's part of the medical plan, but it's the same on both, so I'll just talk about it this one time. The prescription drug plan on these has a deductible of $150 per individual, capped at $450 for a family. So once you as an individual has met $150, so you've paid for the first $150 in drugs, then the copays below will kick in. So we have a two-tiered pharmacy network, the RX Preferred and the RX Premier network. The RX Premier network is going to include pharmacies like CVS, Target, which is run by CVS, and Walgreens. There's a couple other pharmacies that fall in there, but those are the three big ones. Okay. Those pharmacies do tend to have higher costs. They're going to charge more to you, to the plan. They just have higher costs. So typically, because the costs are higher at those pharmacies, you're going to pay a slightly higher copay at those pharmacies. Okay. Then we have the RX Preferred network, which is going to include places like Hy-Vee, Price Chopper, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, places like that. Those pharmacies tend to have lower prescription costs, so they're going to charge the plan or you less for those prescriptions. Therefore, your copay is a little bit lower there. Okay, so you can see that $10 difference in copay if you go to a preferred pharmacy versus a Premier. Both are in network and both are perfectly fine to go to. Just know that you're going to see a little bit of savings if you go with a preferred pharmacy versus a Premier, but you can go to either one. You also have the option to use mail order with Optum Rx for maintenance medications. If you do, you're going to see some savings there, and that you're going to receive a 102-day, which is about a 3-month supply, a little more, delivered right to your door. Very convenient, but you're only going to pay for 2 months of medication. You get 3 months delivered to your door. So you get 2 times the copay, and you receive 3 months of medication delivered right to your door. Okay, and it's 2 times that lower RX Preferred copay. So there is information on our website, and we will, as soon as we receive our new printed member benefit overviews, we'll send you those printed benefit overviews to have a copy of, and the paper member guide to have. The member guide is great. There's a digital one on our website, but you'll get a paper one as well. It gives you all of the programs and services that you receive as a member of Blue Cross. And there's information in there, but it's linked on our website right now in an electronic format that walks through how to become a part of Optum Rx and get your medications through the mail. So as you can see on your screen here, we've got the rates. These are the costs for full-time employees. I don't know that we have any part-time employees on the call today. I think everyone's full-time. But if you think you're part-time, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to double check, and I can provide you with your part-time rates. But these rates are for full-time employees. This first column is the total cost of the plan. The center column is what the district is paying monthly for your rate, for your premium. And then the far right column there is your cost. These rates are on our website as well. And of course, you received a copy of this presentation via email about 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to move on to our high deductible plans. The high deductible health plans are very similar to each other. They look almost identical until you get to the out-of-network benefit. So the plans are essentially the same. The difference comes in with the network and then how the plans behave when you go outside the network. So when you stay in network, the plans are $4,000 individual deductible, capped at $8,000 for a family, 100% plan. So that means when you hit $4,000 as an individual, the plan pays 100% of your in-network covered services for the rest of the calendar year. All covered services apply to that $4,000. So it's all chipping away at that throughout the course of the year. So if you have an office visit, you fill a prescription, you get an x-ray, you go to the emergency room, you have a surgery, it's all applying to that same common deductible. Okay, once you hit that and satisfy the $4,000, the plan is going to pay 100% for all the rest of your covered services for the rest of the year. Okay, you do have the option to choose the Preferred Care Blue high deductible with the large Preferred Care Blue network that again has all of the hospitals in the area with the exception of St. Mary's and St. Joseph Medical Center, which if you choose to go to a provider who does not participate in that large network, the plan's going to pay 80% after deductible. You're going to pay the plan's going to pay 80% after deductible. You're going to pay 20 until you've reached the $8,000 individual out-of-pocket maximum or $16,000 as a family. You also have the option to go with the Blue Select Plus high deductible health plan, which is a much smaller, narrower network of providers. There are 9 area hospitals and about 4,100 area medical providers who participate in this network. The only hospital in Lee Summit that participates in this network is Truman Lakewood. So you'll want to look at that network very closely to make sure that your providers participate, or that if you're willing to change providers. If you go to a provider outside the Blue Select Plus network, the plan's going to pay 70% and you're going to pay 30% until you reach a $20,000 out-of-pocket maximum for an individual, $40,000 for a family. So you can see the plan really incentivizes you to stay within that network. Okay, so some really interesting and cool things with this Blue Select Plus plan. The plan is, the network is small. It's small because they have to meet specific quality standards and have agreed to very deep discounts. Okay, the average discount on Preferred Care Blue is about 50%. It's up to 65% on Blue Select Plus. So you're getting up to 15% more in the way of discount, which on a $100 office visit doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're looking at a $3,000 MRI, that's a pretty good additional discount. So you're typically going to pay less for services on that plan. The other great thing is you don't have to shop around. It eliminates that need. So on Preferred Care Blue, if you need to get an MRI and you call 6 different in-network providers to get that MRI, you could get 6 different prices for that MRI. With Blue Select Plus, it removes that need. All providers who give an MRI, who offer that service, for Blue Select Plus members, the price is the same. So you don't have to call 6 different providers because you know if they're in network with Blue Select Plus, you're always going to get the best price because they're all going to accept that same discount. So they're all going to accept the same price. So it's a really cool plan. It gives you a lot of, you're comfortable that you're getting the best quality and the best price. But it also shrinks down your availability of providers because of that. So you really want to be careful and make sure you're looking at that network to make sure you're picking in-network providers. So as I said, with that, pharmacy is also applying to that same $4,000 deductible. We do still have that Premier and Preferred 2-tiered network. you are going to find a lot of times you're going to pay a little more for prescriptions at a CVS, Walgreens, or Target than you would at a Hy-Vee, Walmart, Sam's Club. You also have access to mail order with Optum Rx to receive 3 months of your maintenance medications delivered right to your door. So for that, you can still sign up just like you can through the HMO and EPO plans. You will often see some savings because Optum Rx just has buying power. They're shipping medications all over the country every day. So with the volume of medications that they purchase from these distributors and manufacturers, they're going to get good pricing. So they pass that savings on to you as a member of Blue Cross. And so you're going to tend to get a good price doing it through mail order. So there's not a savings like there is on the HMO and EPO where you get 3 months for the price of 2, but you are going to tend to see some savings doing it that way. So that's an option there. As you can see here on the screen, the full-time rates are listed for you. In the left-hand column again is the total cost of the plan. The center is what the district's contributing. And then on the right-hand side there, you can see the employee cost. Where you see special family listed here, that's for when we have both spouses work for the district and they have children, a child or children. It's an option for them to be able to combine as a family unit and have one out-of-pocket maximum on a high deductible versus having one employee and then employee children and having a higher out-of-pocket maximum. So if that applies to you, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to explain that further, but that's what that line is about. The district also contributes to a health savings account or HRA if you're ineligible for a health savings account. Because these rates are so much lower, the district has money left over to help you pay that out-of-pocket, that higher out-of-pocket on these plans. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a few slides, but that's what that last line is there, is to help you pay that higher $4,000 individual deductible here.
And Erin, I hate to interrupt, but we do have,
Sure.
oh, perfect, some questions. So let's talk about if you go to an emergency room and have no choice of what doctors are in or out of network.
That's an excellent question. So in any situation on any of our plans, if you have a life or limb threatening emergency, you're going to go to the nearest hospital and you're going to receive emergency care. Life or limb threatening emergencies are always treated as in-network. If you then need to be admitted, what they would do is they would treat you at the out-of-network hospital, get you stabilized, and then if needed, they would transfer you to an in-network hospital for admission. But you're always going to go to the nearest hospital in a life or limb threatening emergency and receive care, and that will be treated as in-network.
Great, thank you. And then a couple of pieces to cover. They're asking about costs. And if those are paid every month or annually on the EPO and HMO plan. So I think if you want to just generally talk about the monthly premiums and then plan costs are on an annual basis.
Yep. So our plans run on a calendar year. So out-of-pocket maximums on the plans themselves, deductibles, out-of-pocket maximums, those are annual. So those are for a calendar year, January through December. And then the premiums, the monthly rates, these are monthly rates. So you would pay these if you're paid monthly. So if you're exempt and you're paid monthly, that would be taken out of each paycheck. If you're non-exempt and you're paid twice a month, you would pay half of that out of each paycheck. So I hope that helps answer those questions.
Great. I think we've got another one. On the Preferred Care Blue high deductible health plan, does this plan include the same covered routine appointments like the HMO and EPO plan? So perhaps just a general on preventive services.
Yes. So all 4 of the medical plans cover routine preventive services at no cost to you. That is actually the Affordable Care Act mandates that our plans cover routine preventive services at 100%. So no cost sharing, so no deductible, no copay, that's free to you. That's paid for by the plan. So if you go in for a well woman exam, well man exam, a routine mammogram, routine colonoscopy, things like that, flu shot, those things, as long as you're in network and it is coded as routine, it's going to be covered at 100%, regardless of what plan you're on. Any additional questions coming through?
I think that's, oh, hold on. So we would just pay for the prescriptions that were given at that time?
So let me clarify that. It'd have to be coded as preventive. So if you were given prescriptions at a preventive visit, it's likely your physician would not bill that as a preventive visit. A preventive visit would not result in prescriptions. So if you have a well check, a physician is allowed to bill 2 office visits. They can bill a well visit and a like a follow-up visit on medical conditions that you have. So it is possible that you could receive a bill for a non-preventive visit at the same time. Because if they're writing prescriptions for you, that means that it's not just a well check, if that makes sense.
Okay. Do all plans offer major comprehensive care?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I mean, all plans, there are plan documents out on our website, certificates that show exactly what the plans cover. I mean, they cover pretty much soup to nuts. They're going to cover hospitalization. They're going to cover office visits. They cover everything that a typical full medical plan would cover.
Right.
If there's something specific you're looking for, I think maybe you should reach out to me individually.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions we have.
Okay, great. Let's move on. We're going to watch a quick video about the tax advantage accounts. This will include HSAs and FSAs. Tax advantage accounts are an important tool offered by the district. We will talk through the advantage of using pre-tax dollars to pay for eligible expenses to help you save money and increase your take-home pay. There are some expenses you know you will have to pay in the coming year, like insurance premiums, out-of-pocket health care costs, and care for a dependent. You can pay these expenses with after-tax income. The good news is you may be able to participate in a district tax advantage account, which allows you to set money aside pre-tax from your paycheck to help you pay for qualified medical, dental, vision, and dependent care expenses. Because this money is not subject to federal, state, or Social Security taxes, you decrease your taxable income and increase your take-home pay. Let's look at an example. Ken and Barb have the same annual income. Ken does not participate in any of the tax advantage accounts. Because no money is set aside pre-tax, Ken pays taxes on all of the money he makes. Barb participates in the tax advantage account for healthcare and pays her insurance premiums pre-tax. Since Barb takes advantage of these accounts, she pays less in taxes than Ken. Her taxable income is reduced by her pre-tax deductions, so she brought home more pay each paycheck. As you can see, even though their total income is the same, Barb pays less in taxes because she participates in the tax advantage accounts. Now, you can't just set money aside pre-tax for anything. Pre-tax money must be used for eligible expenses as defined by the IRS, and the IRS limits how much you can set aside each year. The first way to receive tax savings is to elect for your district-sponsored insurance premiums to be taken out of your paycheck pre-tax. The insurance premiums are paid directly to the insurance company, requiring no paperwork from you. The second way to receive tax savings is to set aside pre-tax dollars to pay for eligible dependent care expenses in a Dependent Care Flexible Spending Account, or FSA. An eligible dependent is a child under the age of 13 or an older dependent who is not capable of self-care. The eligible dependent must live with you for more than half the year. The care must be needed to allow you and your spouse, if married, to work, look for work, or attend school. Examples of eligible expenses include costs for a daycare center, caregiver inside or outside of your home, and before or after school care. Examples of ineligible expenses include weekend, evening, and summer babysitting that is not work-related, nursing home expenses, tuition expenses, and amounts paid to an immediate family member or other tax dependent. The maximum amount you can contribute is $5,000 or up to $2,500 if you're married and file your taxes separately. Unless you have a qualifying life event, the amount you select at enrollment cannot be changed. Funds are not available until they are payroll deducted and would be forfeited if they're not used by December 31st. The third way to receive tax savings is to set aside pre-tax dollars to pay for eligible out-of-pocket healthcare costs, like copays, deductibles, dental, and vision expenses, in a medical FSA or a health savings account or HSA. These expenses can be for you, your spouse, or your tax dependents, even if they're not participating in a district plan. I will highlight the biggest differences between medical FSAs and HSAs to help you understand the basics. The first difference is in medical plan compatibility. A medical FSA does not require participation in a specific kind of medical plan and actually does not require enrollment in any district medical plan. However, contributions to an HSA are allowed only if you are enrolled in one of the district's high-deductible health plans. Another difference is the amount of time you have to spend the funds. You can use your FSA funds to pay for expenses this calendar year. You will need to estimate your expenses conservatively, as funds unused by December 31st are forfeited. A health savings account is just that, a savings account. It is designed to save for future health expenses. You can use your HSA funds for expenses incurred the day your high-deductible health plan starts and beyond, as HSA funds roll over year to year and belong to you even if your employment with the district ends. With an FSA, every dollar you elect to contribute for the year is available January 1st. HSA funds are not available until they are deposited. Debit cards will be issued for both FSAs and HSAs. Reimbursements from FSAs are processed by Surancy. Surancy may request documentation when you use your FSA debit card. Be sure to keep itemized receipts. Unlike FSAs, Central Bank of the Midwest will not request documentation, but you still must keep your receipts in case of audit by the IRS. Another key difference is how much the IRS allows you to contribute each year. The maximum FSA amount you can contribute is displayed on screen. On the HSA, when enrolled for all 12 months of the year, you can contribute up to the maximum displayed for employee only, and double that with dependent enrollment. If you are 55 or older, you may make an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution. These amounts are prorated by the IRS, so you may contribute 1/12 of the maximum for each month you're enrolled in a qualified plan. Keep in mind the district's HSA contribution counts towards that annual maximum. The amount you select at enrollment cannot be changed mid-year on the FSA unless you have a qualifying life event. On the HSA, you can change the amount you set aside at any time. If you elect the health savings account, you can also set aside pre-tax dollars in a limited flexible spending account to help you pay for qualified dental and vision expenses only. All other medical FSA rules apply. Okay. So a health savings account, if you enroll in one of the high deductible health plans, you may be eligible to open a health savings account, but you have to confirm if you're eligible. The video talked through some of those IRS regulations, especially on how much you can contribute, but the IRS has other rules on that as well. Obviously how much you can contribute, what you can spend the funds on, but also whether or not you're eligible to even have an HSA account and receive contributions into it. So to confirm if you're eligible, you have to ask yourself a couple questions. The main things that you need to make sure of is that you don't have other coverage that's going to pay first dollar benefits, and that your spouse, neither you or your spouse have an HRA, a health reimbursement account or arrangement, or a medical flexible spending account. So these questions here on the screen are the things you need to ask yourself. Do you have other coverage through a spouse? Retiree coverage, Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE? Have you utilized VA benefits in the last 3 months for non-service related care? Do you or your spouse have a medical flexible spending account or an HRA? If the answer to any of these things is yes, then you aren't eligible for the health savings account. So the district's going to put that contribution into a different type of account called a health reimbursement arrangement. So what is the same between a health savings account and a health reimbursement arrangement? Eligible expenses are still going to include medical, dental, and vision. Okay, you're going to get a debit card for each account that you can use to pay for those eligible expenses at the point of sale. They're programmed to only allow eligible expenses. So if you accidentally pulled out the wrong card and tried to buy all your groceries or a pair of shoes, they're not going to let that go through. It's only going to approve eligible expenses. And then your first contribution is going to coincide with the first payroll following your insurance effective date. So for those of you who are paid twice a month, your first contribution into your HSA or HRA will be on January 15th. For those of you who are paid monthly, it'll be on January 28th. So what's different? And there are quite a few things that are different. So this is important to note if you're ineligible for the health savings account. The first thing to note is that district contributions into a health savings account count towards your retirement salary. So you'll pay retirement on those, as will the district, and they count towards your salary for retirement purposes. District contributions into a health reimbursement arrangement do not count towards your salary for retirement purposes. There's a couple of reasons for that, and those are mainly the next couple differences that I'll talk about. In an HSA, all of the funds in the account carry over year to year. Okay, so those always carry over forever and ever. They never expire, even if you leave the district. So if you were to retire or otherwise leave employment, you take all of those funds with you. Okay, in an HRA, the balance and your rollover amount cannot exceed $4,999. So if you hit that cap, which it'll take you a couple of years to get there, but once you hit that cap, your contributions no longer go into your account. So there is a chance that you could be leaving money on the table there and not receiving that. So obviously that money can't be counted as retirement income because you're not receiving it. The second piece there, upon separation from the district, so when you retire, otherwise leave employment, you have until December 31st of that calendar year to use the funds in that HRA for eligible expenses, or you forfeit them. So because those funds don't go with you and remain yours, they aren't counted as salary for retirement purposes. So the next couple of differences are just as important but don't impact retirement. So your HSA is going to allow you to contribute as an employee up to that IRS imposed maximum. On an HRA, you as the employee cannot contribute. So if you want to set money aside into the HRA like you would an HSA, you would actually do that using the medical flexible spending account. And you'll have to make sure you do that conservatively because those funds expire at the end of each calendar year if they're unused. You do have to keep your receipts in both cases. So with the HSA, you're going to keep those receipts for 7-10 years, depending on your accountant, in case of audit by the IRS. So you're going to keep those for as long as your audit risk is, in case the IRS came knocking on your door and said, hey, we need to see, and we're going to audit you. So if they wanted to see those, what they would be looking for is itemized documentation that every dollar you spent out of your HSA was for an eligible expense. Now, anything you can't show documentation for, you would be subject to income tax plus a 20% penalty. Now, if that's $100, probably not a big deal. If it's $3,000 or $4,000, that's a bigger deal. So you want to make sure you're keeping those itemized receipts. On the HRA, you want to keep those itemized receipts because Surancy is going to ask for those receipts pretty frequently. So you want to keep those receipts, send them to Surancy when they're requested, and then once Surancy's received them and approved your claim, then you can get rid of those receipts. On the HSA, you do have to open an account. Those instructions on how to open an account are on that same website where you're going to click Enroll Now in those step-by-step instructions. And on the HRA, you don't need to do anything. We'll open that account for you. The last difference is very important. On a health savings account, you can actually use the funds in that account to pay for your expenses, your legal spouse, and any tax-dependent children's expenses, even if they're not covered on any district plan. So you can use those expenses for your spouse and kids, even if they're covered elsewhere. However, on an HRA, the IRS says only those enrolled on the medical plan at the district with you can have expenses reimbursed by HRA funds. So that means if you don't cover your spouse and kids on our medical plan, you cannot use HRA funds to reimburse their expenses. So that's a big difference. So keep that in mind. Any questions up to this point?
No.
Perfect. So we're going to move on to the dental plans. We have dental plans offering, 3 dental plans offered through Cigna. On screen here, you can see those 3 plans. We have the core plan, which is paid for 100% by the district. If you need additional dental coverage, we have a base plan and a buy-up plan that you can pay for. We have diagnostic and preventive services covered at 100% on all 3 plans. Basic and restorative services are covered at copays. Our core plan is what's called a dental HMO. So there's specific copays for any services that need to be performed on those 2 plans. If you go to our website on the dental page, you will see a link to the plan summary, which is, I can't even remember how many pages long, 20 or 30 pages long. And it has every copay for every possible dental service that you could receive. So you can see exactly what the costs would be for each service. The base plan, 60% coverage for those basic restorative services. This category is typically going to be anything from a filling all the way up to a root canal, okay? The buy-up plan is going to cover those up at 80%. Class 3 is your major restorative services. So this category is going to be bridges, crowns, and dentures, that type of service. That is going to include implants on the core plan. Implants are not included on the base and buy-up plan. You've got no coverage for those on the base plan at all. So no coverage for those bridges, permanent crowns, and dentures on a base plan. 50% coverage for those on the buy-up plan, and then copays for those services on the core plan. Your calendar year benefit maximum, which applies to class 2 and 3 services only. So that's, you're always going to receive your cleaning and exam for free. There's no benefit maximum on the core plan. So there's no cap on what Cigna is going to pay for services. It's a $500 cap on what Cigna will pay for anything that needs to be fixed on the base plan per person per calendar year. And then it's a $1,000 benefit maximum on the buy-up plan. It is a progressive maximum, which means the plan is going to increase that by $250 each calendar year if you receive at least 1 preventive service up here in that calendar year. Okay, you get 2 cleanings a year, you take advantage of at least 1, then you're going to increase this the following year by $250 as long as you stay enrolled on that plan. So say you take the buy-up plan for 2021, you get at least 1 cleaning, and you re-enroll in that plan for 2022. In 2022, you'd have a $1,250 benefit maximum. Okay, so we also have orthodontia coverage on this core plan and on the buy-up plan, but not on the base plan. On the buy-up plan, it's a 50% benefit to a lifetime maximum of $1,000. You can see the rates here on the screen. These are also available in the copy I sent to you this morning and on our website. I'm not going to spend too much time there. Any questions on dental?
No.
Okay, so we've got vision coverage also through Cigna. We have 2 vision plans available, a basic and a buy-up plan. We have a 12-month vision exam every 12 months, and these are per calendar year, not a rolling 12 months. So if you get an eye exam in January, you could get one, or I guess if you get one in June, you could get one in January the next year. So your vision exam is every 12 months. Your lenses, including contacts, are every 12 months. And then frames on the basic plan are every 24 months, and on the buy-up plan every 12. Your copay for an exam is $10 on both plans, and materials is $25. Your basic lenses are covered in full after your copay. And then frames, you have a $130 allowance on the basic plan and a $150 allowance on the buy-up plan. And your contact lens and fitting, that's again in lieu of glasses up here, you can get contact lenses or you can get frames and lenses. Again, same allowance here, 130 on the basic plan, 150 on the buy-up plan. Your rates here on the screen. You'll notice on the dental and the vision, there's no disclaimer about part-time. Part-time employee rates are the same as full-time employee rates on vision and dental. It's only medical that's different. Any questions on vision?
No.
Okay, so we're going to move on then to life and disability. Our life insurance is with Unum, and our disability insurance is with the Standard. Life insurance, the district has provides one times your annual salary in life insurance at no cost to you. That's just provided. And then you have the option to purchase an additional 1 or 2 times your annual salary in life insurance if you choose. As a new hire, it is guaranteed issue, but that's only when you first are eligible now as a new hire. If you purchase it in the future at an open enrollment, you are subject to underwriting. So now's the time to really look into that if you are interested in adding that coverage. The rates are on the benefit guide and overview that are on the website. You also have the option to add a $10,000 life benefit for your spouse and or dependent children. $1.36 premium covers however many children you have. So if you have 1 child or a dozen, you're going to pay 1 premium and it covers however many eligible children you have. Disability insurance, we have short-term medical leave and long-term disability. The district provides that for all benefit eligible staff, so it's not anything you need to elect or pay for. The district pays for this on our behalf. Short-term medical leave is what will kick in if you are unable to work. In the short term, after 10 working days on an approved claim, the district will pay 100% of your pre-disability earnings for up to 115 working days. If after that time you are still disabled and unable to work, then long-term disability would kick in. Your employment would typically end and you would receive 66 2/3% of your pre-disability earnings up to Social Security normal retirement age. We also offer long-term care insurance through Unum. This is coverage for in-facility or in-home care when you or your spouse need assistance with the activities of daily living. So you're unable to feed yourself, clothe yourself, bathe yourself, things like that. Why buy now? The younger you are when you buy, the lower the cost because you're locked in at that age. If you purchase it now as a new hire as well, you are guaranteed issue up to a certain point. So it's a great time to look at it as a new hire because you're not going to be asked any health history for yourself or your family. And then it's better to buy younger than later on in life because you're going to be locked in at a lower rate. So it is a separate paper application. You can click the link here that's live on the presentation I sent to you or on our website and walk through that, print out the application and return it to me, and I'd be happy to get that submitted to Unum on your behalf. Any questions up to this point?
No.
Perfect. Additional benefits and voluntary deductions. You are, as a district employee, automatically a member of 3 credit unions. It's Community America, Central Missouri Community Credit Union, and Raytown-Lee Summit Community Credit Union. Excuse me. You would just contact the credit union of your choice, establish an account, and then you can view our website for instructions on how you could set up actually a payroll deduction to go into one of those credit unions if you wanted to maybe set some money aside into savings each paycheck. If you work at Summit Point Elementary, we will automatically set up the Kansas City earnings tax, but that will be refunded to you. If you live in Kansas City, Missouri, you do need to go out into Employee Online and follow the instructions that Julie showed you earlier today to set that up. You can make Lee Summit Educational Foundation and United Way charitable contributions via payroll deduction. You can also set up contributions into a Most 529 college savings plan via payroll deduction as well. So here we are on the leaves and absences page, what everybody's been waiting for, and I've made you wait to the end. Paid time off. So exempt staff, you have paid time off and paid days off, PDO. You're going to receive your PDO up front on your first paycheck. Okay, you work less than 205 days when you work a full contract year, at 182 days for teachers. That's the exempt staff we have on today. On a full year, you would receive the number of hours you work a day times 8. Obviously, you're coming in mid-year, so you're going to receive a prorated share of that 8 days. So you'll get that on your first contract pay. Non-exempt staff, you receive your time and paid time off, or PTO. Those of you who are just working the school year, you work less than 205 days a year. So when you work the whole year, you're going to receive the number of hours you work a day times 8. Again, 8 days. You're going to receive a prorated share of that, and you actually accrue that per paycheck. So on each contract paycheck, on each paycheck, you're going to get a chunk of your PTO time. So you'll see that at the bottom of your pay stub, the chunk of PTO that you've accrued, any that you've taken, and then the balance. I think I've got at least one custodian on the call today. You are a 244 or greater, so you work year-round. So you actually receive, when you work a full year from July through June, 10 days of PTO. You're coming in again mid-year, so you're going to receive a prorated share of that. You're going to accrue it per paycheck. Again, for that custodian who works year-round, for those who work 244 or more, you're actually going to earn vacation time as well. Non-exempt down here, 1 to 5 years, you earn that another 10 days. You're going to again accrue a prorated portion of that time because you're coming in mid-year. Any questions up to this point?
Yes. I am in a 12-month position. How does this impact my PTO? Also, I am paid in the summer.
Okay, Daisy, you came into the call a little bit late, so I think we probably need to have a conversation separately, individually. So maybe I'll reach out to you after this meeting and we can have a conversation about your pay, okay?
Yep, that's good. Thank you, Erin.
Perfect. Yep. All right, so additional benefits, other leaves and absences. There are tons of leaves available for various reasons. Everybody's favorite there, jury duty leave. There's leave to vote as needed, bereavement leave available, all kinds of leave. Staff development opportunities are handled at the building and department level. There is educational assistance available once you've worked 12 months for the district, some tuition reimbursement. I am talking and stumbling all over my words, so I apologize. Staff discounts and offers. I'll let Sarah kind of jump in on this a little bit as well. Staff discounts, the community is super generous. My favorite for my family is Dairy Queen. We love Dairy Queen. And so we use the 10% discount there at Dairy Queen a lot. I know Sarah's family, I'll let her talk to her favorite, no judgment. No judgment on my ice cream either, so.
Right. Waldo Pizza, I don't know, I think they're called Summit Pizza now, and they give a 25% discount to district employees. You just have to have your ID badge and show them that. But like Erin said, our community is very generous to us, and there is a link to staff discounts on the district staff website. So you may want to check that out periodically. Here with tax season coming up here pretty soon, we'll start seeing tax preparers that may give discounts to employees. So just keep your eyes open on that.
And I'll let you go ahead and continue right on there, Sarah, to catastrophic.
There's a couple of questions though first.
Oh, okay.
Since we are virtual, how does pay work when working from home? And just a reminder, you have to have supervisor approval to work from home. So Erin?
Okay, so.
And then it kind of, yeah, there's another question after that.
Okay, so I think a couple of these. So I think timesheet to complete science curriculum training will this be applied to a monthly paycheck, or will I pay for this separately? So I think these are really questions that maybe need to be addressed individually with your supervisor and our payroll team. I think that first of all, if you are working from home, depending on your position, that obviously would be something that you would have to run through your supervisor and discuss with your supervisor. And then if you've turned in a timesheet, then that's going to be paid on your regular payroll. We don't, yeah, Sarah just answered that too. We don't run special pay runs for a timesheet, so you're always going to receive any timesheets that you turn in on a regular payroll. So if you have questions about how your pay is going to work when you're working from home, I would suggest definitely talking with your supervisor to first make sure you're approved to be working from home, and then confirm how you should be timing in and out and tracking those hours while you're working from home.
Okay, great. Thank you, Erin. All right, so now let's talk about the catastrophic paid days off bank. The district established this many years ago. It was here when I started 22 years ago. So in order to be a member of the catastrophic PDO pool, you do have to donate 1 day's worth of your time off. So you have to donate either a paid day off or a paid time off. You then would be eligible to use benefits from the catastrophic pool. So keep in mind, if you need to be absent due to your own medical condition, after you've worked 90 days, you would be eligible for short-term medical leave, as Erin talked to you about earlier. The catastrophic pool is a benefit you would use if you had an immediate family member, and that includes spouse, older children, dependent children, parents, and step-parents. If you needed to miss work to care for them because they've had a life-threatening or catastrophic event occur in their life, you would have to go on an unpaid leave of absence after you used all of your time off. But if you had donated 1 day to the catastrophic pool, you would be eligible to request pay from the catastrophic pool. So you would have to complete the application, provide doctor's documentation. Policy states it has to be either a life-threatening event or an event that would cause you to miss 20 or more days of work. So again, that's when you would be able to use this benefit. Right now it's a one-time donation. We have over 3,000 days that other employees have donated into this pool. We hope to never ever use up all of those days, but if we do, we would open it back up to everyone and ask if you want to donate again. So if you donate now as a new hire, you would be eligible to use this benefit after you've worked 90 days. If you decide to wait and donate during the next open enrollment, which would be about a year from now, then you would have a 1-year waiting period before you could apply for benefits. So when you complete your online enrollment, again, by Sunday, one of the last questions throughout that enrollment process will be, do you want to donate a day to the catastrophic pool? So if you are interested in donating a day, you would say yes. And if you're not, you would say no. So Erin, any questions on the catastrophic pool?
No, there are no questions on the catastrophic
Okay,
pool.
great, thank you.
Okay, so this last couple screens here, we're finishing up. Required notices. As your employer, the government does require us to notify you of a lot of things throughout the year. This screen here is just kind of a quick overview of a lot of those notices on the benefit side of things. So just some things to look at. That link there is going to take you right to the page where each of these notices is housed. And you can just look through those. Some of them are really, really brief. Others are a little bit on the longer side, but none of them are super long. Just take a look at those. You may learn something you didn't know that you needed to know. So take a look at those notices. Just make sure that you are aware of all of those things. And then action items. Visit the New Hire Orientation Companion website. It has all of the videos we talked through today and more recaps of the things that we walked through today. Be prepared when you go to do your enrollment. Have dependent dates of birth and socials ready if you're going to enroll them on any of your benefits. Okay, so if you're going to include your kids on your medical, dental, or vision, make sure you have their dates of birth and socials ready. Have your beneficiary's address and phone number ready. Remember, the district provides 1 times your salary and life insurance, so if you're going to leave that to your brother in Texas, have his address and phone number with you because you need that to put him as your beneficiary, okay? Follow the instructions on the screen and it will walk you through everything. Remember that you must log into the insurance enrollment site and complete this process even if you're declining all coverage. There's not a magic I decline it all button. You do have to go through each screen and tell us. And then when you get to the life insurance page, you'll put in your beneficiary information and go through each screen there. I am available for virtual assistance, so if you're unsure or need help walking through, I'm happy to do that with you either over the phone, or we can set up a Zoom or Google Meet and get your enrollment completed together virtually. Happy to do that if you need help. Again, please get your enrollment completed by Sunday. That's December 6th, this coming Sunday. I know that only gives you a handful of days. The information will be fresh in your mind to be able to get all that in, and then we'll be able to get it all in on payroll on time, so you'll get, you won't have to double up any payroll deductions. So from there, if there are no questions, this who to contact sheets, your last page on your presentation that I sent you this morning,